In this video, we'll be going over the shade systems that are available with our custom Roman fabric shades at Merle Landis. We'll be following the order of this booklet that we have out. It is on our website, as well as you can get a hard copy of it. I'm here with Donna, who is a key production member of our team here at Merle Landis, and I'm April, and I'm in the sales and marketing department. So I'm going to go through each shade, the order that is in this booklet, and ask Donna some questions and hopefully help all of you, our customers, with selecting a shade style. So Donna, if we can start with some questions about the first shade listed.
Yes.
That is the MYL 100% cordless shade system. And what are the minimum requirements going to be with using this system?
Your minimum return would be 2.5, and your minimum face width is 26 inches.
Okay, and what is the construction of this, and what makes it 100% cordless?
What makes this 100% is we use safety shade ribs along with the J hooks, and we use a blackout shield that conceals the shadow of the ribs.
Okay, and that shade is certified as best for kids, so
Correct.
that would be why, because of those safety standards.
Correct.
Okay, and how does this shade operate, if you could show us? So smooth cordless
Very smooth.
operation. Very nice.
Donna, or
Okay, and Donna, the second shade that we have listed or hanging is the MYL Shield Spring System. And I'll start with the minimum requirements again. What would that be for this shade?
The minimum requirement is also a 2.5 return and a 26-inch face width.
Okay. And this also looks like it has the shield system
Correct.
option?
This has a shield system. This has shroud and cords on the end rows only.
Mm-hmm.
There are no shrouds on the inside. We do use a safety shade rib and J hooks at the bottom to conceal the two shades, like the two together.
Mm-hmm. And on the shield, can they use the blackout as well if they would
Yes,
want
they
to?
can.
Okay, all right. And standard construction then with rings, cords, but they're hidden.
Correct.
Okay. And could you operate that one for us? Yeah, I like the look of that one. How about installing, when they would get to install? Anything special
Installing,
they
they would use a bracket,
Mhm.
which is a 2.5 return.
Mhm.
You can slide the whole mechanism over to get your brackets in there so you can screw into the first hole.
Okay. Nice.
These we do send with every shade,
Okay.
and each of the spring systems we use the same brackets.
Okay, so for all three of these, it would be the
Yes.
same. And if they would need to adjust the shade when they're using a spring at install, how would they adjust?
If you're looking at the shade right side facing, that would be the side of the spring. You would actually turn clockwise on your wheel.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to take tension off, you would turn it counterclockwise.
Okay.
And the stop device is on the left side facing. If you need to have your shade stop at a certain point, you want to turn that clockwise.
Okay.
And to release it, you want to turn it counterclockwise.
Easy to do by hand
Yes.
or okay.
Or with a plumber's wrench.
Okay. Donna, at time of install, you talked about the adjustments that they can do. What about the spring itself? Can they do rather large shades with it, or how does the spring system work in that case?
For a Roman shade, you can do up to 25 square foot.
Mm-hmm.
It is not unusual to actually help raise a shade
I
because
see.
the higher it goes.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to be careful if it gets over 25 square foot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good information. Okay, and the third shade that we have shown is the Rollease Acmeda Easy Spring Plus with ring locks. I understand this is a very popular system
Correct.
that gets ordered, and what is the minimum requirements for this one?
The minimum is a 2.5 return and a 28-inch face width.
Okay,
Now-
and minimum because of the system, it just won't allow you to use a smaller
Right, because
board?
we actually bring our brackets in 1 inch on either side to
Oh.
allow for installation.
Okay,
So that makes this smaller.
so 28.
28 face width of a shade.
Okay, and what is the construction of this shade?
The construction is with ring locks, and we use a white ring to help raise the shade up and down.
And it looks like a standard classic Roman
Correct,
shade
you
construction.
can make your shade just like you normally do.
Mm-hmm. And how does the ring work, if you could show us? very easily then with the ring. With the ring, do you have any comments about the centering of it or being off center?
The ring doesn't necessarily have to be in the center of the shade because you construct this with your normal spacing.
Okay.
If we don't have it in the center, we offset it to the next row.
Okay, and it works fine that way.
Correct.
Great. And the last one we have right now is the Safety Shade Pro Lift system, and this one has a more unique look. What are the minimum requirements for using this shade?
The minimum is a 2-inch return, and there is no minimum on the face width.
Okay, so they could do a very small shade with this one.
Correct.
And the construction of this one looks pretty classic as well, traditional?
It's a standard spacing, and you use ring locks.
Okay. What makes this unique? Is it the way it's raised and lowered?
It's raised and lowered using a toggle switch on the wand.
Mm-hmm. So how are you doing that? You're using the handle of the fashion
wand?
wand?
Handle on the fashion wand, and there's a little toggle switch. You don't use a toggle when it goes up, you use a toggle when you put it down.
Pulling it down always, okay.
Right.
All right. Okay, the next shade that we have hanging is the Rollease Acmeda SS38 Roman Shade System. What do you have as the minimum requirements for ordering this system?
The minimum requirement is an 1.5-inch return, 18-inch face width, and there is a maximum of 13 by 13 feet.
Wow, okay. And how is this shade constructed any differently?
The shade is constructed with your rings in 3 inches,
Mhm.
and your spacing would be your standard.
Okay. And how does it attach to the headrail?
It is attached with a spline at the top, or it can be attached with Velcro.
Okay. And it operates with the bead cord. Could you show us?
It operates with the bead chain.
This shade is our Rollease Workroom 3/8-inch shaft system. What are the minimum requirements for ordering this type of operating system?
The minimum requirement is an 1.5-inch return for the small shaft and 2.5 for the large shaft.
Okay. And anything different about the construction of this type of shade?
The construction would be done as your standard that you normally would do.
Mm-hmm. And how does this operate? Can you show us?
This operates with the chain as well.
And with the bead chain, is there any special colors? I noticed the last one was in nickel.
Correct. The nickel we use on the SS38, that is the standard. On the 3/8 shaft, you can either use white or ivory, and we match to the lining on the back of the shade.
Great. The next shade hanging is the Rollease Acmeda R Series. This is a popular system, right?
Correct.
How are the minimums on this one?
This one, there is a minimum of an 1.5-inch return for the 1 1/8 tube. For a 2-inch return, you need to use an 1.5-inch tube. For a 2-inch tube, you need to use a 3.5 return.
Okay, that's great. Now, that looks like it would handle larger shades, possibly?
Yes, the larger the shade, if you need to, we use a Galaxy clutch.
Okay. And construction and operates the same as?
Construction would be like you normally do, your rings 2 inches in and your spacing as your standard.
Mhm.
And with the shade going up and down, it goes a lot faster than the 3/8 shaft
I see.
because there's less revolutions
The
on.
next shade we have shown is the Rollease Automate motor with ring locks. Could you tell us about this system and maybe a little bit about where the battery is?
The battery is located inside the tube, so you do not need to replace any batteries in there anymore. What you do need to do is we will send you a charger specifically for this, and you will plug it into the wall.
And how will they receive it when they get it for their install job? What would they need to know?
They will receive this in the sleep mode. To take it out of sleep mode, you take a large paper clip and you straighten it out. And there's a little button called the P1 button, and you put the little paper clip in there, press the button, and have the shade jog once.
Sort of
And
wakes it up?
It will wake it up, yes.
And when they get it, it'll be assigned channels if they have multiple shades?
There'll be a label on the top for what channel each shade is on. And we do set your limits, so when you get them, they will be ready to go.
Very good. Thank you. And Donna, I noticed that this system has the shield option on it. You can get it
Yes.
either way.
You can get it with the shield or without the shield.
And this system is representing both the 1.1 motor and the 2.0 motor.
Correct.
Those are both available.
Correct.
So this shade is the Rollease Automate switch wand motor with ring locks, and this looks like a unique system. What are the minimum requirements if they'd like to order this one?
The minimum is 20 inches in width and a 2.5 return.
And can you tell us how the battery, where the battery is and how this works?
The battery is located inside the tube, and this one has a wand. You want to plug your wand in once you get it, and that's how it will operate.
That wakes it up.
That wakes it up, and we have it all set.
Okay.
All your limits are set.
And how does that work? Oh, thank you.
The little buttons on the front.
Great. Donna, thank you so much for going over all the shade systems with us, and we hope that this video was informative for you. Please check the description box below for further details or contact us.